All right, let's jump right in. We're going to explore a world that, well, it might be a lot closer than any of us think. A future that's being shaped right now by a technology that can literally rewrite the code of life itself.
I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself living in the shadows. Your very existence, it's illegal. And why? Because you were conceived the old-fashioned way. In this new world, they have a name for you. You're an imperfect.
And in this world, any tiny natural flaw, even something as small as a slight heart murmur, that's a dead giveaway. It marks you. It's the sign that your genes haven't been optimized, and it puts a target on your back.
And who's hunting you? Not people. Tracers. Genetically engineered hunters, designed with hearing so sharp they can pick up a heartbeat from half a mile away. So you're always on the run, just trying to survive in a world that has decided you're obsolete.
Okay, I know, this sounds like something straight out of a movie. But the wild part is, the technology that could actually lead to a future just like this, it's very, very real. So how did we get here? How could we possibly end up in a future where humanity is split into two? Well, the whole story starts with one word, CRISPR. It's this revolutionary tech that, ironically, promised to end disease forever.
So, to really wrap our heads around this possible future, we've got to understand what CRISPR actually is. And its origin story is, honestly, it's fascinating. It wasn't invented in some high-tech lab. Nope. It started as this ancient defense system in bacteria.
Okay, so CRISPR stands for Clustered, Regularly Interspaced, Short Palindromic Repeats. Yeah, it's a total mouthful, I know. But the idea behind it is actually pretty brilliant. Think of it like this. It's basically an immune system for bacteria. When a virus attacks, the bacteria grabs a little snapshot of the virus's DNA and stores it. It's like creating a most wanted poster for any future invaders.
And this is where it gets really clever. The bacterium uses this protein called Cas9. You can just think of it as a tiny pair of molecular scissors. When that virus shows up again, the Cas9 protein finds it and just cuts it up, neutralizing the threat. Now here's the genius part. Scientists, like the Nobel Prize winners Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna, had this incredible aha moment. They realized they could hijack this whole system. They could reprogram those Cas9 scissors to cut any piece of DNA they wanted with incredible precision.
And believe me, this new level of precision was a total game changer. We went from these clumsy, blunt methods, like physically cutting and pasting DNA, to something incredibly surgical. It was like going from a hammer and chisel to the find and replace function in a word processor. Suddenly, we could target and fix a single faulty gene. That was huge.
And this really shows you the incredible promise, the good side of all this. Take someone like Victoria Gray. She suffered from sickle cell disease, which meant she was in constant, agonizing pain. For her, CRISPR wasn't just a technology, it was a miracle. Doctors were able to take her stem cells, edit them, and essentially cure her. She can now live a normal life. It's amazing.
But then in 2018, a line was crossed. A big one. A Chinese researcher, He Jiankui, announced he had created the world's first CRISPR babies. He edited human embryos to make them resistant to HIV. Now, this wasn't just treating a single person. He had altered the human germline. And what that means is that the changes he made, they're heritable. They can be passed down through generations, forever. The global scientific community was, to put it mildly, absolutely horrified. The genie was out of the bottle.
And that one event, just like that, opened up a Pandora's box of really complicated, really dangerous questions. Questions that, honestly, humanity has been wrestling with for over 100 years.
It all comes down to this. If you have the power to fix a gene that causes a horrible disease, well, why stop there? Why not tweak a gene to boost intelligence, or height, or athletic ability? Suddenly that line between healing and enhancing becomes, it gets dangerously blurry fast.
And look, this idea of improving the human race, it's not new at all. The dream of a perfect population has an incredibly dark and painful history. For a huge chunk of the 20th century, governments all over the world, including in the US, actively practiced eugenics. They forcibly sterilized people they considered unfit just to stop them from passing on what they called undesirable traits. So, back to our speculative future. This old, ugly idea gets a shiny, high-tech makeover. An AI, they call it the Guardian, takes over. And its solution to all the world's problems, disease, climate change, war, is simple. Mandatory genetic optimization for every single newborn. Of course, people resist at first, but the benefits start to look pretty undeniable.
But here's the terrifying trade-off, right? You get a society that's healthier, smarter, sure, but it's also the same. Everyone becomes more obedient, more predictable, and in this quest for perfection, we risk editing out the very things that make us human. You know that messy, unpredictable spark of creativity? The strength you get from overcoming a struggle? That rebellious spirit that questions authority? All gone.
And you can bet that this drive for optimization doesn't stop with civilians. Inevitably, it spills over onto the battlefield. And that's where you get a terrifying new kind of arms race.
And let me be clear, this is not science fiction. This is happening now. Major world powers, Russia, China, the US, through agencies like DARPA, they are all actively researching how to use CRISPR to create the ultimate soldier. We're talking about enhancing muscle mass, bone density, reducing the need for sleep, maybe even adding regenerative healing. It's a full-blown genetic arms race.
Just stop and think about what that means for a second. A soldier who is biologically incapable of feeling pain, or fear, or regret. A soldier who can follow any order, no matter how horrific, without a shred of empathy. The ethical lines don't just get blurry here, they completely evaporate.
And a lot of this is happening in the shadows. Intelligence agencies like the CIA are getting around all the military red tape and ethics boards by just funding private companies to do the work. You've got companies like Colossal Biosciences, the guys famous for trying to bring back the woolly mammoth, reportedly getting CIA money. This whole thing is accelerating, far away from public eyes.
But here's the thing. Whenever we start messing with the fundamental code of life, there are always unintended consequences. This tool is unbelievably powerful, yes, but perfect? Not even close.
So get this, $300 million. That's how much value 3 of the top CRISPR companies lost in just 20 minutes. What caused a panic like that? One single scientific study. It came out and revealed that this supposedly super precise tool can actually cause massive unintended damage to DNA, often far away from where it was supposed to be working.
So that's the big biological risk, right? The genetic scissors can cut in the wrong place. Sometimes it can delete huge chunks of DNA by mistake. And these errors can turn on genes that cause cancer or turn off genes that are supposed to protect us. Even Jennifer Doudna, one of the inventors, is constantly warning people about the massive risks. We're basically editing a book written in a language we can't fully read yet.
You know, a lot of people compare CRISPR, especially combined with AI, to Pandora's box. And it's a fitting metaphor, because once that box is open, there's no closing it. We have unleashed these incredible tools that could cure all our diseases, or they could completely change the definition of what it even means to be human.
And in the myth, after all the evils flew out of the box, one thing was left behind at the bottom: hope. We are standing at a massive crossroads right now. We hold in our hands the power to end immense suffering. But we also hold the power to create a genetic caste system, soldiers without souls, a world of engineered oppression. The history of what comes next won't just be written in books. It's going to be written into our very DNA. The only question left is, which story are we going to write?